Sapiens, A Brief History of Humankind. Sapiens is a non-fiction book that takes a sweeping look at the history of humanity from the emergence of Homo sapiens in Africa to the present day. The author, Yuval Noah Harari, provides a wide-ranging and thought-provoking analysis of human history, covering topics such as the cognitive revolution, the agricultural revolution, the rise of empires, the scientific revolution, and the future of humanity. Sapiens has been widely praised for its clear and accessible writing style, its engaging storytelling, and its ability to make complex ideas accessible to a general audience. It has become a bestseller around the world and has been translated into over 50 languages. So let's begin. Part 1, The Cognitive Revolution. Chapter 1, An Animal of No Significance. In this chapter, Harari introduces the concept of the cognitive revolution, which he argues was the most important event in the history of humanity. He suggests that before the cognitive revolution, humans were not significantly different from other animals in terms of their abilities and ecological impact. However, the cognitive revolution enabled humans to develop language, which allowed them to communicate and cooperate in ways that were impossible for other animals. Harari argues that the cognitive revolution was a result of a genetic mutation that occurred in Homo sapiens around 70,000 years ago. This mutation enabled humans to develop a new kind of language that was based on symbolic representation, rather than the simple signaling systems used by other animals. According to Harari, the development of language allowed humans to form much larger and more complex societies than other animals. It also allowed them to transmit knowledge and ideas across generations, which enabled them to accumulate knowledge and make progress over time. Overall, An Animal of No Significance sets the stage for the rest of the book by introducing the idea that human history is defined by a series of revolutions, each of which has had a profound impact on the course of human development. Chapter 2. The Tree of Knowledge. In this chapter, Harari continues to explore the cognitive revolution and its impact on human development. Specifically, he focuses on the role of imagination and fiction in human history. Harari argues that humans have a unique ability to create and believe in fictional stories, myths, and religions. This ability is what enabled humans to form large, complex societies based on shared beliefs and values. For example, Harari suggests that the development of shared religious beliefs allowed early humans to cooperate with one another and form stable communities. However, Harari also notes that these shared beliefs and values are often arbitrary and have no basis in objective reality. For example, money, which is essential for modern economic systems, has no inherent value and is only valuable because people agree to treat it as such. Overall, the Tree of Knowledge highlights the importance of imagination and fiction in human history and suggests that much of what we consider to be objective reality is actually based on shared beliefs and values. Harari argues that understanding the role of imagination and fiction in human history is crucial for understanding our current global society and for charting a course for the future. Chapter 3. A Day in the Life of Adam and Eve. In this chapter, Harari uses a fictional story to illustrate how early humans lived during the period after the cognitive revolution but before the agricultural revolution. The story is based on the idea that early humans lived in small, nomadic bands and spent much of their time gathering food and avoiding danger. In the story, Adam and Eve are members of a small band of hunter-gatherers who spend their days searching for food, avoiding predators, and engaging in social activities like gossiping and flirting. Harari argues that life for early humans was both difficult and precarious. They faced constant threats from predators and had to work hard to find enough food to survive. However, they also enjoyed a degree of freedom and independence that was lost after the advent of agriculture and the rise of complex societies. Overall, A Day in the Life of Adam and Eve provides a vivid and engaging picture of what life may have been like for early humans. By focusing on the daily experiences of these individuals, Harari highlights the challenges and opportunities that shaped the course of human history. Chapter 4. The Flood. In this chapter, Harari explores the impact of the agricultural revolution, which he argues was a turning point in human history. Harari suggests that the agricultural revolution began around 10,000 years ago, when humans began to domesticate plants and animals. This allowed them to produce more food than they needed to survive, which in turn led to the growth of permanent settlements, the rise of complex societies, and the development of new technologies and ideas. However, Harari also notes that the agricultural revolution had some negative consequences. For example, it led to the rise of social hierarchies, the exploitation of women and children, and the emergence of new diseases. Harari also argues that the agricultural revolution was responsible for a decline in human health and well-being, as early agricultural societies were more susceptible to famine, malnutrition, and disease than hunter-gatherer societies. Part 2: The Agricultural Revolution. Chapter 5: History's Biggest Fraud. In this chapter, Harari explores the origins and impact of money, which he argues is the biggest fraud in human history. Harari suggests that money is a fictional system of trust that humans have created to facilitate trade and cooperation. He notes that money has no inherent value but is only valuable because people agree to treat it as such. Harari also argues that the development of money played a crucial role in the rise of complex societies, as it allowed people to trade goods and services across long distances and to form large-scale economic systems. However, Harari also notes that money has some negative consequences. For example, he suggests that money has led to the rise of inequality, as some people are able to accumulate more wealth than others. He also notes that money has led to the rise of consumerism, as people are encouraged to buy more and more goods in order to stimulate economic growth. Chapter 6: Building Pyramids. In this chapter, Harari explores the origins and purpose of monumental construction projects, such as the pyramids of ancient Egypt. Harari argues that monumental construction projects played a crucial role in the rise of complex societies, as they allowed rulers to demonstrate their power and wealth and to establish a sense of shared identity among their subjects. He notes that such projects required the labor of large numbers of people, which in turn required complex systems of organization and control. Harari also suggests that monumental construction projects like the pyramids served as a means of social control, as they helped to reinforce social hierarchies and maintain the dominance of rulers and elites. He notes that the construction of the pyramids was a massive undertaking that required the labor of tens of thousands of people, many of whom were likely slaves or forced laborers. Chapter 7: Memory Overload. In this chapter, Harari explores the evolution of human memory and its impact on human society. Harari notes that human memory is unique in the animal kingdom, as humans are able to remember and transmit information across generations through language and culture. He suggests that this ability to remember and transmit information has played a crucial role in the rise of complex societies and the development of science and technology. However, Harari also notes that human memory can be unreliable and prone to error. He suggests that this is because human memory is influenced by emotions, biases, and cultural context. He also notes that the sheer amount of information that humans are now able to generate and transmit through modern technology has created a kind of memory overload, where it is difficult to distinguish between important and trivial information. Chapter 8: There is no justice in history. In this chapter, Harari explores the concept of justice and its role in human societies throughout history. Harari notes that the concept of justice has evolved over time, with different societies and cultures defining justice in different ways. He suggests that justice is ultimately a human invention, a way of trying to create a fair and equitable society. However, Harari also notes that history is full of examples of injustice, with powerful individuals and groups often exploiting and oppressing weaker ones. He suggests that this is because justice is often subjective, and what one person considers fair may be considered unfair by another. Harari also notes that the course of history is often determined by power struggles rather than moral considerations, and that many of the most successful and influential people in history have been willing to use violence and exploitation to achieve their goals. Overall, There is No Justice in History challenges readers to reconsider their assumptions about justice and its role in human society. Horror. Part 3: The Unification of Humankind. Chapter 9: The Arrow of History. In this chapter, Harari explores the concept of progress and the direction of human history. Harari notes that humans have always been fascinated by the idea of progress, and that many societies throughout history have believed in a linear view of history, where human societies are continually improving and advancing. He suggests that this belief in progress has been a powerful force in shaping human history, driving scientific and technological advancements and inspiring social and political reforms. However, Harari also notes that the idea of progress is not without its critics, who argue that it is a myth or an illusion. He suggests that progress is not always linear, and that human societies have experienced both progress and setbacks throughout history. He also notes that the direction of history is often determined by unpredictable events and contingencies, rather than by any grand plan or design. Chapter 10. Imperial Visions. In this chapter, Harari explores the rise of empires and their impact on human societies. Harari notes that throughout history, many societies have attempted to create empires, which are large, centralized political entities that seek to control and dominate other societies. He suggests that empires have been motivated by a variety of factors, including economic gain, religious and cultural expansion, and the desire for power and glory. Harari also notes that empires have had a significant impact on the course of human history, shaping the social, political, and economic structures of the societies they conquered. He suggests that empires have often been characterized by inequality, exploitation, and violence, with powerful empires using their military and economic might to dominate weaker societies. Chapter 11. The Law of Religion. In this chapter, Harari explores the role of religion in human societies throughout history. Harari notes that religion has been a fundamental aspect of human culture since the earliest civilizations, and that it has played a significant role in shaping the social, political, and moral values of societies around the world. He suggests that religion has served a variety of functions, including providing a sense of meaning and purpose, establishing ethical norms and moral values, and offering explanations for the natural world and human existence. Harari also notes that religion has often been intertwined with power and politics, with religious institutions and leaders exerting significant influence over the societies they serve. He suggests that religion has often been used to justify and legitimize political power, with rulers and elites using religious authority to maintain their grip on power. Chapter 12. The Secret of Success. In this chapter, Harari explores the factors that have contributed to the success of Homo sapiens as a species. Harari notes that Homo sapiens have been able to thrive and dominate the planet due to a combination of factors, including our ability to cooperate in large groups, our capacity for imagination and storytelling, and our adaptability and resilience in the face of environmental challenges. He suggests that the key to our success as a species lies in our ability to create and believe in shared myths and stories, such as religions, nations, and corporations, which allow us to cooperate and coordinate on a massive scale. He also notes that our unique capacity for language and communication has allowed us to share ideas, knowledge, and culture across generations, creating a collective memory and sense of identity. Harari also explores some of the drawbacks and challenges that have come with our success as a species, including the environmental damage and exploitation that have resulted from our rapid technological advancements. Chapter 13. The First Empire. In this chapter, Harari explores the rise of the Akkadian Empire in ancient Mesopotamia, which he suggests was the first true empire in human history. Harari notes that the Akkadian Empire was founded by Sargon the Great, who united the city-states of Mesopotamia under a single ruler in the 24th century BCE. He suggests that the success of the Akkadian Empire was due to a combination of military power, centralized political control, and technological advancements, including the development of cuneiform writing and irrigation systems. Harari also notes that the Akkadian Empire was characterized by significant social and economic inequality, with the ruling elites controlling the majority of the wealth and resources. He suggests that this inequality led to significant unrest and dissent, and that the empire eventually collapsed due to a combination of external threats and internal instability. Part 4. The Scientific Revolution. Chapter 14. The Discovery of Ignorance. In this chapter, Harari explores the idea that the key to human progress is not necessarily knowledge, but rather the awareness of our own ignorance. Harari notes that throughout history, humans have been driven by a desire for knowledge and understanding, but that this has often led to hubris and overconfidence. He suggests that it is only when we recognize the limits of our own knowledge that we can begin to make real progress and find solutions to complex problems. Harari explores several examples of how the discovery of ignorance has led to significant advancements in human knowledge, including the scientific revolution of the 16th and 17th centuries. He notes that scientists such as Galileo and Isaac Newton were able to make groundbreaking discoveries because they recognized the limits of their own knowledge and were willing to challenge established beliefs and assumptions. Harari also suggests that the recognition of our own ignorance can be a humbling experience, and that it can help to foster empathy and understanding towards others. He notes that many of the world's greatest spiritual and philosophical traditions have emphasized the importance of humility and self-awareness as a means of achieving wisdom and enlightenment. Chapter 15. The Capitalist Creed. In this chapter, Harari explores the origins and characteristics of capitalism as an economic system, as well as its impact on human society and the world. Harari suggests that capitalism is a relatively recent phenomenon in human history, emerging in the late Middle Ages and early modern period as a result of technological advancements and changing social and economic structures. He notes that capitalism is characterized by the private ownership of the means of production, the pursuit of profit as the primary motive for economic activity, and the free exchange of goods and services in a competitive marketplace. Harari also explores the ideological underpinnings of capitalism, noting that it is based on a belief in the power of free markets and the efficiency of self-regulating economic systems. He suggests that capitalism has been incredibly successful in creating wealth and promoting economic growth, but that it has also led to significant social and environmental challenges, including inequality, exploitation, and ecological degradation. Harari concludes the chapter by suggesting that capitalism is not necessarily a natural or inevitable feature of human society, but rather a product of specific historical and cultural factors. He encourages readers to consider alternative economic systems that prioritize sustainability, social justice, and human well-being, and to question the assumptions and values that underpin our current economic system. Chapter 16: The Industrial Revolution. In this chapter, Harari examines the origins, characteristics, and impact of the Industrial Revolution, which began in Britain in the late 18th century and transformed the world's economies, societies, and cultures. Harari suggests that the Industrial Revolution was characterized by a series of technological and organizational innovations, including the steam engine, the factory system, and new modes of transportation and communication. These innovations led to unprecedented levels of economic growth and prosperity, but also to significant social and environmental challenges, including urbanization, pollution, and the exploitation of labor. Harari argues that the Industrial Revolution was a pivotal moment in human history, marking a significant shift from agrarian, rural societies to industrialized, urban ones. He suggests that the Industrial Revolution laid the groundwork for many of the technological and economic changes that have characterized modern society, including the rise of consumer culture, the spread of globalization, and the emergence of digital technologies. At the same time, Harari notes that the Industrial Revolution also had significant social and environmental consequences, including the displacement of traditional communities and ways of life, the exploitation of workers, and the destruction of natural habitats and ecosystems. He suggests that the benefits of industrialization and economic growth must be balanced against these costs, and that we must work to create more sustainable and equitable models of economic and social organization. Chapter 17: And They Lived Happily Ever After. A Brief History of Humankind by Yuval Noah Harari. In this chapter, Harari explores the question of whether the advent of modern technology and economic growth has led to greater happiness and well-being for human societies. Harari suggests that while many people today enjoy greater material comfort and security than at any point in history, the pursuit of wealth and economic growth has also led to significant social and environmental challenges, including inequality, stress, and ecological degradation. He argues that while economic growth and technological progress can be beneficial, they must be balanced with other social and cultural values, such as community, meaning, and purpose. Harari also suggests that the idea of happily ever after is a myth, and that human societies have always faced a variety of challenges and struggles. He notes that while modern technology and economic growth have provided many benefits, they have also led to new forms of inequality and injustice, including the concentration of wealth and power in the hands of a small elite. Part 5, The Future. Chapter 18, The End of Homo Sapiens. In this chapter, Harari explores the potential implications of emerging technologies and scientific developments for the future of humanity. Harari suggests that advances in fields such as biotechnology, artificial intelligence, and nanotechnology could transform human life in unprecedented ways, potentially leading to the creation of new forms of life and the enhancement or replacement of existing human capabilities. He notes that these developments could have significant implications for issues such as identity, ethics, and power, and that they raise important questions about the future of human evolution and the nature of human existence itself. Harari argues that it is impossible to predict with certainty how these developments will unfold, but that we must be mindful of their potential risks and benefits. He suggests that we must work to ensure that these technologies are developed and used in ways that align with our values and goals as a species, and that we must be prepared to adapt and evolve in response to the challenges and opportunities they present. Chapter 19, The Animal That Became a God. In this chapter, Harari explores the evolution of Homo sapiens from a relatively insignificant species of ape to a dominant and highly influential force on the planet. Harari suggests that the key factor that allowed Homo sapiens to rise to prominence was its ability to create and communicate abstract concepts such as religion, money, and politics. He argues that these shared fictions, which exist only in the minds of human beings, enabled Homo sapiens to cooperate and coordinate on a large scale, creating complex societies and systems of trade, governance, and belief. Harari also explores the idea that these shared fictions have had a profound impact on the natural world, shaping the course of evolution and transforming the environment in ways that have both benefited and threatened other species. He notes that the dominance of Homo sapiens has led to the extinction of countless other species, and that the continued growth and expansion of human society could have far-reaching and potentially catastrophic consequences for the planet as a whole. Chapter 20, The Meaning of Life. In this chapter, author Yuval Noah Harari explores different perspectives on the meaning of life and suggests that the concept itself is a product of human imagination. Harari argues that the idea of a single, objective meaning of life is a fiction created by human beings, and that the diversity of beliefs and values across different cultures and individuals reflects the subjective nature of this concept. He notes that while many people seek to find meaning in their lives through religion, science, or personal fulfillment, there is no universal answer to the question of what makes life meaningful. Instead, Harari suggests that the meaning of life is a matter of personal choice and interpretation, and that each individual must find their own path and purpose in life. He also notes that the idea of a single, objective meaning of life can be a source of conflict and oppression, as different groups may seek to impose their beliefs and values on others in the name of a universal truth. Overall, the meaning of life in Sapiens encourages readers to reflect on their own beliefs and values, and to recognize the subjective and culturally constructed nature of this concept. Harari suggests that the search for meaning is an ongoing and personal journey, and that each individual must find their own path and purpose in life, guided by their own experiences, beliefs, and values. Conclusion. Sapiens offers a thought-provoking and wide-ranging exploration of human history, encouraging readers to question their assumptions and beliefs and to consider the unique capabilities and responsibilities of Homo sapiens as a species.